All right, let's do it. It's Eric Arnold back in the sports barn. It is December 3rd, Thursday, December 3rd, probably about 10 o'clock at night, getting you the weekend sports college football picks. A little late this week, but we got them for you. We got them for you. I think we only missed one game, and believe it or not, that was a winner. See, he's like, yeah, sure it was. Well, yeah, doesn't really matter. I mean, doesn't matter. So there's dozens of games. A good slate of college football this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Let's get to it. Let's see what time is it. I'm just checking my clock there to make sure we try to use good time management, unlike the Baltimore Ravens did there against the Steelers. Let's try to use good clock management. All right, where are we? Major game Friday night. This is, God, it's a Sun Belt weekend. It's a Sun Belt weekend. Lafayette up against Appy State. Up at Appy State. Major Sun Belt matchup here. The two of the three best teams in the Sun Belt. The more I think about this, these Sun Belt teams, maybe should be getting a little more respect. There's Lafayette there. They have one loss. That was to Coastal Carolina. I think I'm right on that. I think they have one loss. I know they went to Iowa State, who's on the verge of winning the Big 12 and beat these guys. But if I look at the rankings of the teams, this playoff committee, it's a long slate of games here, and I don't want to belabor the point. But anyway, I think these teams are underrated. It'll be a hell of a great game. Appy State has owned Lafayette. Lafayette has not yet beaten Appy State. In fairness, 5-6 years ago, Appy State was great, and Lafayette wasn't very good. Now, Lafayette has the new coach, Billy Napier, and he's making this team better. And this is his best addition to this team, but he still hasn't beaten Appy State. I just think he's too good of a coach to leave Lafayette, and he's about ready to be hired away from Lafayette. I think he's too good a coach to not have beaten his rival. So I think this is his year. It's always a little dicey picking the end of a streak. In other words, I've beaten you 10 times in a row, but this year, this is the year we win. Okay. So we're going to try to pick the end of the streak here. We're going to say Lafayette gets in there to Appy State. We think it's just two teams going in different directions, that Lafayette's going like this, Appy State's coming back down, and this is tomorrow night's where they pass. Just like two freight trains. So only one star there. It's just a really great game. And I'm looking for, that's the hell of it is, you look forward to some of these games, and then, 10 minutes before kickoff, we're not going to play. Son of a bitch. Speaking of not playing, let's get into this. Ohio State will be up at Michigan State. I believe they're going to play. Ohio State, I guess, is up against the self-imposed Big Ten rule that I guess a team must have played 5 games to be involved in the Big Ten title game. And Ohio State has played, 3? I think 3. This will be 4, I think. I could have my math wrong. Basically, the point is that Ohio State, having missed so many games with their own virus issues, other teams' virus issues, basically it could come down to next week with Michigan, where they have to play Michigan. And Michigan's not playing this week because they have virus issues. So I guess Kirk Herbstreit decided he wanted to stir up trouble and suggested that Michigan would not play next week because they're afraid of getting trashed by Ohio State. you know, I don't know. Let's put it this way. As much as I hate Jim Harbaugh, and I really dislike that guy, there's no way in the world that guy would tap out. He would play Ohio State if it was him, his three sons, his brother, and his elderly father. It would be the Harbaughs versus Ohio State. Harbaugh would go out there and play him, and he'd know he'd lose 1,000-0, but he wouldn't care. That dude, that's a guy that gets carried out on a shield kind of dude. Which I guess I got to grudgingly respect that. He would not weasel out and say, oh, I don't want to play the virus. Now, his bosses, above him, that I don't know. So I think Michigan, I think the fan base almost is going to demand that they play that game and say, we're playing. I don't care who we put out there. I mean, how many of these kids do we give scholarships to play football? How many of them don't dress and sit in the stands? We're going to dress somebody for this goddamn game. So I'm kind of thinking that Michigan will find a way to play the game next week, I think. I hope. I mean, that's a game we look forward to all year long. Ohio State fans do. So I really hope the game doesn't get canceled. That would, I just, this is sometimes called the politics barn, and you say that seems odd. Why? What's the intersection between sports and politics? Well, it's everywhere. I mean, you just gotta look for it. I mean, Michigan taking a forfeit or a cancellation to screw Ohio State? Oh my God, that would take the rivalry to like another level. It would be, I'd almost admire them for doing it just because it's such a scumbag, underhanded move that, it'll live in Ohio State, Michigan history forever as just the most dastardly thing that's ever been done. Maybe not the most dastardly, but it'd be one, if you're basically what they're trying to do is keep Ohio State out of the playoffs because they haven't played enough games. So I don't think it'll really matter one way or the other to the playoff committee if we play Michigan or not. Because if we do play them, I mean, the chances are Michigan's going to field half a team anyway. So what's the difference if we beat a not very good Michigan team with their players or without their players, and we win 58-2 or 68-2? What's the difference? So I don't know, whether they play that game is going to all matter all that much to the committee. You never know. You never know. It's interesting, though. My gut feeling is Michigan's going to find a way to play that game. They are going to find a way to play that game. So this game has nothing to do with the game next week, but it was just an opportunity to talk about this. Ohio State is laying 24 to Michigan State, which has been mostly bad this year. They've played a couple good games. Mostly they've been bad. I don't know. This is just a legacy pick on my part. Michigan State generally plays us pretty tough. They generally play us pretty tough. And the idea that we're just going to walk in there on that slow surface of theirs up there in Lansing and just run all over them like a track meet, I don't see it. I see this as a grind it out, slug it out. Ohio State wins 23-6 or 23-14 type game. I don't see this as a track meet game. That's historically what's happened in these kind of games. So we'll take Michigan State, only 1 star there. I have no rationale for this next game. Nebraska 2 stars. I've gotten them wrong. I think I've gotten Purdue wrong. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'll take Nebraska in the points. 2 stars. This is a game that I don't know, seemingly makes no sense at all to me. I mean, from what I've seen, Rutgers looks like it's far and away better than Penn State. I mean, Penn State hasn't looked good at all to me. They only team they looked half decent against was Michigan. And Michigan had to go to the wall to beat Rutgers. So I would say Rutgers is at least a few points better than Penn State. And you're catching all these extra points based on reputation. I don't know. I've got to take the points here. I've got to take Rutgers. 1 star. We'll take this as a top play. We'll take the herd. The herd. Marshall, 23.5. We'll lay the 23.5. It's going to be cold. Cold. The boys from Houston not liking the cold. So we're going to say Marshall's going to run up some points there on the turf in Huntington. We'll lay the 23.5. Top play there. That was a lesson last week. We attempted to, be too clever by half by taking Kansas. Sometimes you just have, once you've identified a bad team and you're pretty sure you're right, don't like get off it. Just play against them every week. They're just, don't get tricky. Don't try to find that one game where they're going to be up. It just isn't going. And as it proved last week, it just doesn't pay. So we'll just fade Kansas. Lay at 27 with Texas Tech. They got 1 star there. No rationale for this game. A MAC game. Western Michigan. Lay the 13.5. 1 star. Slight rationale for this one. Bowling Green, I think, it's a bad MAC team, but I think there'd be some hope there that they're starting to get a little better. And here they're playing a beatable opponent in Akron. Akron, I kind of think, is a team that just there's no hope at the moment for that team. So between these two bad teams, I think Bowling Green might be the team that's moving. They're moving forward. Where Akron, I think they're just sitting still at the bottom of the conference. We'll take the 2.5. We'll take Akron. I'm sorry, Bowling Green. We'll take Bowling Green win the 2.5. 2 stars there. All right, back to some good games. Texas A&M, we're really impressed with these guys. We've had some luck with them. We were lucky last week. They gave up a backdoor cover to LSU, but they were much the best against LSU. Sadly, their playoff hopes have probably went by the boards when they got beat early in the year by Alabama. But here, they're only 6-point favorites at Auburn. I just think A&M is significantly better than Auburn. 2 stars here. Lay the 6 with A&M on the road. I got 3 stars in this game, and I don't know why. This one doesn't feel right. I know Kansas State's a tough team at home, and they're one of these oddball teams that looks like shit, but somehow covers spreads. Texas, they're hit or miss. Texas should be able to just throw their hats on the field and win this game by 3 touchdowns, but they probably won't. They'll do stupid stuff. They'll fumble. They'll throw interceptions. They'll keep Kansas in it. Kansas State. We'll take the 7. This is a top play. I'm not crazy about it, but we'll take the 7 at Manhattan. Top play, Kansas State. Memphis, we like them getting 2 from Tulane. I don't have a real rationale there other than the model like the game. Memphis plus the 2. Missouri, Arkansas, these are 2 teams that are kind of having nice little years under the radar there in the SEC. Arkansas early was playing really well. Missouri now, they're playing pretty well now. Games at Missouri. Missouri's played pretty well at home this year. They beat LSU. They beat Kentucky. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take Missouri. Lay the 2.5. I think Arkansas is maybe just a little tired maybe, and I think Missouri might be just that much better. Here's an interesting game. North Carolina playing like some 1A team or 1AA team, whatever they call it. FCS, is that it? I always get that wrong. At any rate, they're 50-point favorites. I don't know who West Carolina is. I have no idea who they played. I'm just going to go ahead and take the 50 and just hope that, it's hard to score 50 points in December because it's cold and it's crummy and nobody feels like playing. And, you know, why would North Carolina be up for this game on December 5th? Why would they be up for that? All right, let's see what else. Okay, Notre Dame laying 33.5 to Syracuse at South Bend. That's a lot of points. I'm going to lay it. I'm not crazy about it, but I think that the way to play this is that because the ACC has canceled next week's games for Notre Dame and Clemson, how do you get to do that? I mean, only in this goddamn year. You know, again, the intersection of sports and politics, where the ACC is clearing the decks for these guys to make sure they meet in the ACC title game to increase their chances that one or both is what they're angling for, end up in the playoff. They're generating, therefore, money. If someone asks you, if an alien asks you, says, what, this word you say, politics, what does that mean? It means money. It means money. Money. How do I get the money? Did I take it from you? Are you mad about it? That's politics. So, you know, they're taking money from, say, the Big 12 or the Pac-12 or possibly the Big 10. That's politics. So, it's politics. See, Lieutenant Bobolinsky, politics. But, so that's interesting. But the way I think you will play this is both teams need to tune up, knowing they have a bye next week before the ACC title game. So I think Notre Dame is going to, you know, knowing they have an off week next week, there's no reason to hold back. I mean, you can just let loose the dogs of war on poor old Syracuse. Syracuse won't score. They might get 3, 7, 10 at the most. Notre Dame will probably be in the 40s. So I think we can lay the 33.5 there. No rationale for that game. Boston College getting 4. 1 star there. Big game here. God, I mean, it's so sad in that some of these games, I mean, think about this. You know, if this was a normal year, 100,000 people there at Knoxville, and you got one of your hated rivals coming in, Florida, in the first week in December, and that place is going to be going absolutely crazy over 100,000 people, and you know, oh, it'd be awesome. But instead, you know, I guess there'll be 3 people there, and oh well. Don't get me started. But Florida, we're going to go ahead and lay to the 17.5 on the road. We just think that, you know, that this is that Spurrier-esque type team that can score. I've been trying to look at good quarterbacks and trying, just like at my, you know, NFL, that's kind of what I'm looking for in the NFL is coach, quarterback, coach, quarterback. In college, all I know are the coaches. I don't know the quarterbacks. I haven't been able to memorize all the quarterbacks yet. I know Florida has one of the best, though. So I think that's just where you're looking there. Go ahead, take the good coach, take the good quarterback, lay to the 17.5. Don't worry about the weather. It's not going to be that bad. And, you know, 1 star. I'm not that crazy about it. Iowa State, there they are. There they are. They're hosting West Virginia. Only laying 6.5. This is their chance to win the conference outright. I talked about this before in that I don't know what it means to win a conference. In other words, the regular season record in conference, I have the best record, but it's the same as your record. But I beat you, so I have a tiebreaker. Did I win the conference, or do we share the conference title? So, you know, that's one example. Or I have the best record in the regular season, but I lose the title game. So am I the conference champion now, or are you the conference champion? Or do I get a banner that says regular season champion? You know, all this bullshit. I know this, that the coaches in college basketball want to win the regular season conference title. That is their goal. That is what they put on their resumes and say, I did this. And they would much rather do that than steal a bid to the big dance by, you know, looking through 3 wins in the tournament, in the conference tournament. They'd rather have that in-season, regular season title at the top of the standings. So that's a long way of saying Iowa State can do that Saturday. They can sit atop the standings. No one can tie them. No one can touch them. No tiebreakers. They can be at the top of the standings for the first time in over 100 years. I say they do it. I say they cover the 6.5. This is the kind of year where something like that would happen. So I say Iowa State, this is their year, the year of the goddamn pandemic. All right, this is a top play. Wisconsin laying 14 to Indiana, who's been great, but they lost their quarterback, who tore up his knee. And now, look, I don't know much about this one, except there was a lot of steam on this game, shoving that number up to 14. That tells me people that know more about this than I do think that Indiana's backup sucks. And Wisconsin, they're just not going to be able to score with Wisconsin. And, you know, when Wisconsin gets on a roll late in the year up there at Madison, you know, they can chew you up. You know, second half can get ugly. They can chew you up. And if you can't score with them, it's going to get out of hand. So this is a top play. We'll lay the 2 touchdowns with Wisconsin. Iowa, Illinois. I'm going to take Iowa here. Lay the 13.5 against Illinois. Saw something interesting last week, I guess, at the end of the Iowa-Nebraska game. I guess Nebraska was chirping at Iowa because they thought that Iowa was, I guess, simulating snap counts or something, that they're clapping their hands on the sidelines or something. Something trying to distract the Nebraska offense, I guess. And Kirk Ferentz, the coach of Iowa, he came back at those guys pretty hard. You know, he didn't just blow it off. He made a point to, you know, be offended by these sniping, these accusations. I liked it. I thought, this is a guy planting a flag, you know, because he's been kicked around all off season, you know, dragged with accusations that his program is racist and he's a racist and he's terrible and I was awful. And, you know, to me, what that was part of him doing is saying, I'm not going anywhere. You know what? I'm here. I'm still the coach of Iowa. We're still pretty goddamn good, and I'm not going anywhere. So I like that. I think that means he's coming out with an attitude here Saturday, and he's going to handle Illinois, lay the 13.5, 2 stars there. All right, this is the top play. Navy. It's Navy kind of weather. I'm telling you, it's going to be ugly down there in Annapolis Saturday. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. Have you been to Annapolis in December? It sucks. I don't know these boys from Tulsa. I mean, it's not like they're from freaking Los Angeles, but still, Navy is not going to be affected by the cold and the wind all that much. All they do is run the damn ball. This is perfect Navy weather. I'm catching 12.5 points. Yeah, oh yeah, I want Navy. And we'll take the under. We'll take the under 48.5. Top play there. 2 stars on the under. I mean, Navy played a similar team, similar conditions last week. The score was 10-7. 10-7. So, yeah, I expect this to be a slugfest. I think I read somewhere that it's senior day for don't call them the cadets, the midshipmen down at Annapolis. And the article I read said that they have not lost on senior day in 17 years. In 17 years? How is that possible? I mean, I guess they just find, I guess that's the day they play Colgate or Lehigh or Quinnipiac or something like that. And now in this COVID year, they've actually got a team in front of them. But, this is a game that Navy's going to be ready. Oh, yeah, they're going to be ready. I think there's a lot of steam on Tulsa. I'm going against it. This is a top play. I like Navy. Get to 12.5 points. All right, here's another great matchup. Again, it's like, this is such a great weekend, man. You got BYU in a surprise drop-in, we'll play anywhere, anytime, anybody matchup at Myrtle Beach against Coastal Carolina. Oh my gosh. 2 undefeated teams that I guess the legacy football media could care less about. Both of these teams, I don't think either one of them's in the playoff top 10. BYU should be, definitely should be. I'm taking them. I'm laying the 10 against Coastal Carolina. I just think BYU's better. I just think they're on another level than Coastal Carolina. Don't get me wrong, Carolina's had a hell of a nice year. They've beat Kansas. They're bad. I mean, that win looks less and less impressive as the season goes on. But they beat Lafayette. Don't forget Lafayette won at Iowa State. They beat Appy State. They're have got one loss maybe. So, Coastal Carolina, nothing to be embarrassed about with their record. BYU, though, they've just trashed everybody. Houston, Boise, Navy. I'm probably forgetting somebody. We'll go ahead here. We're going to lay the 10. Only 1 star. This is just kind of a hunch. I don't have anything really to go with it. All right, this is top play. I have no idea why. Florida Atlantic catching 2.5 at Georgia Southern. This is only 2 stars in this game just because there's steam all over it. Colorado State getting 7.5 at San Diego State. There's Clemson again. We're going to lay the 22 at Virginia Tech. I mean, Virginia Tech, I don't know what to make of these guys. Clemson just trashed Pitt. Pitt just trashed Virginia Tech. So, by that thinking, Clemson should be like 70 points better than Virginia Tech. We'll lay the 1 star. I feel it's a trap, Admiral Akbar. Look out, it's a trap. But I'll just lay the 22, 1 star. These games are generally close, but again, it's a COVID kind of year. Up is down, left is right. So we'll lay the 21.5 with Oklahoma. 1 star there. This game, I want to make this a top play so bad, but again, I'm almost certain this is a trap. I want LSU so bad. Getting 29.5 points at home against, I know it's Alabama. I know Alabama will probably have 48 points by halftime. But I just, I just think that Ed Orgeron is just going to go in there and he is going to peel the goddamn paint off the walls before that game. I could give his speech for him, and I probably will choke to death trying to do his voice, but it would be along the lines of, "You listen, motherfuckers! Oh, you've been recruited for a reason! You've got speed, you've got strength, you've got power! We're not going to let these SOBs come in here and beat us by 50 points. We're the goddamn defending national champions, son of bitches!" And it's something like that. Those guys are going to come roaring out of the tunnel. Wah! And they'll probably lose, hopefully, like 0-27. But they'll cover the spread. So that's the thinking. So 2 stars there with LSU. I have no idea. We're taking 1 star here with 14, getting 14.5 with Duke. That's probably just a weather play. And then here we go, late night West Coast and top plays. Steam was all over UCLA, so take the 3. Chip Kelly over Herman Edwards out at where do they play? Arizona State, yeah, Tempe. So take the 3 there. Steam all over Fresno State. We'll take the 6.5 at Nevada. Top play there. And then Wyoming, I saw these guys in the bar last Friday night, and they were really impressive against UNLV. They ran through those guys easy. So New Mexico, not good, not a good team. Team in flux. Team looking for leadership. A team trying to weed out a lot of bad eggs. So lay the 17.5 with Wyoming on the road. And then if you still haven't had enough college action, this game's on Sunday night. Lay the 11.5 with USC against Washington State. All right, well, I'm out of breath there. That was a lot of games. Let's recap. Top plays are Marshall, Kansas State, Wisconsin, Navy, Florida Atlantic, UCLA, Fresno, Wyoming. And if you don't like those, then some of these others I kind of liked. Nebraska, Bowling Green, Missouri, Memphis, Texas A&M. I like that one. I like Iowa. I like the under here down at Annapolis. Think that's going to be a slow them down kind of game. Colorado State, USC, LSU. I know they scored 7 points against Texas A&M, and that was only because the game was 60 minutes long. Had it been 59.5 minutes long, they wouldn't have scored at all. So I know, but I'm going to say somehow he gets those guys, and they are good athletes, and they do have pride. And I don't care how old they are going to want to not get just embarrassed. Jesus Christ, you're the defending national champions. You got to uphold what last year's team did in some fashion. So, yeah, I think it's a trap. I think I'm in the wrong place here, but this is what I'm going to say is going to happen. There's going to be some pride at Baton Rouge, and they're going to come out with their hair on fire, and they're going to, lose 27-0, which will be fine for our purposes. All right, that's all we got here. What time is it? It's got to be close to midnight. I'm hesitant to wish my father a happy birthday. His birthday's tomorrow. So at midnight, then I guess he'll be 91. Like I said, I'm hesitant to, I don't want to jinx it because, that would be the kind of thing where you're not 91 till you are 91. And that's what we got there for you. So thanks for being here. We'll get the pro games up for you at some point soon, very soon. From me to you, let's get some winners. Hit the like button if you care to. Thanks, and we'll see you again.